Hello, welcome back. It's Jess and her art. So, last week we had a little tour of my office, and then we did the first layer of many in six of my journals. What we're going to look at today is two of my journals. This took me a long time, so there's going to be lots of cuts and like that are very well done, like this one was. And there'll be a lot of jumping around. So I'll start each section with a little discussion on what you're going to look at, and then I'll set some music so you can just kind of chill and relax. There are four sections of this. Four, because we're going to do four different layers today: two, three, four, and five. And then I should have another one that finishes up the two journals that I'm working on here next week. So what's happening here is I took some pieces of paper and different collage pieces and I put them across several different pages. I didn't show you all of them because it's kind of boring to look at. You'll see each of the journals as they progress. The next stage is basically like paint and markers building up and integrating the pages into sort of the multimedia structure. So I always think of this as like it could be any marker fill, it can be any kind of paint, it can be anything. You'll see me do things like this is a huge glob of violet paint, deep violet paint. It'll go far, but it's like I'm black now, and I was like I completely didn't even know what I was doing. So I will open different pages from the different journals, and in fact I'll like do another one that's on the floor and like kind of spread this paint out a little bit. Um, so I'm doing this with my second journal here. And again, a reminder, this particular journal that I'm working on right this second is a day journal. So each page will be a different day of the week. So, you know, day one is one of the month, and you can kind of turn the pages and put it up on a little stand on your desk. So I basically am just going through and I'm trying to spread the paint out. And then, you know, I have a piece of paper on the floor, a couple of pieces of paper on the floor that I'll sop up any of the additional pieces of paint, pieces of paint. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Let's have a look. I will come back when we're ready to go into the next section. Enjoy. Alrighty, I'm coming back in to talk about what's happening next. As you can see, I have a bunch of stencils. So I separate this as a separate layer because it does sort of change the structure of everything. And this one, I'm going to use a lot more spray. Like I'm not going to spray. There'll be liquid watercolors and inks that will go over the paints. I do that a little bit, but you know, and then I put them in between pages. That's me like getting all the ink off that I can and coming up with textures. Um, Stencils can really create a bit of texture and take flat paint onto the next level. Like this is actually my favorite sequence. Um, well, maybe the one after this, but basically, you can take anything. Like you can do letters if you want to and do them upside down. You can take only a little bit of the stencil and use that so that you can just create that texture. Remember that multimedia journaling is building up layers. Never be precious with the layers. Don't be afraid to cover everything up. Some people call this maximalism, which I think is a cool word for it. We jumped over here. You're welcome. So, you kind of like experimenting. The thing on the right was a new stencil that I hated. So I went back to this letter stencil. I really love this one lately. Like look at that cool. You can it kind of looks like billboard, like the letters on billboards when they like rip them off. And that energy I really like. It pulls from my experiences of walking down the street in New York City. As is, one of my influences is very much the streets of New York City when you go outside. The rare times that I leave my office. So yeah, I mean that's basically what this is, taking what's already there and giving a certain depth, right? Um, from the base layer all the way up. You can still see from this like the black that we began with. And then we layered on some paint and some pen and some paper and some stickers. And we are now doing those stencils. So you should get stencils if you don't have them. I also have ones that I've made that I really like. I'm happy to show you guys how to make them. But I just like find what I like and just kind of throw it on there, knowing that I might just like paint over them eventually. This is a cool one. That one's also new. Love it. Okay, BRB. Alrighty, this is the end of the section. We're going to go into a little interlude where I dry, I have to dry up these layers before I go on to the next section. It's a silly shot. Okay, so I make all of these stamps by hand. I'm not like that good at it. When I started doing this, I was just like, I want textures, I want shapes, I want to have fun. I've made larger ones now, and I enjoy this. So this isn't block printing. I would not call this block printing. Sometimes the images don't come out, you know. This little alien has a buddy that goes, it's two stamps that go together. My daughter drew them and then I carved them out. There's many of these stamps where my daughter drew them and I just cut them out. Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to do is like build layers that have some additional depth and shape. I could show you what I have a ton of rubber. I can show you how I do my stamps and why I'm so messy with it. There is no why to why I'm messy to it. I just love making a mess. I've said it many times. Yeah, this is like my favorite section. That's why it's going to be the longest, because there's so many different stamps and there's so many different way to, well, there's only one way to apply them, but they change the page drastically. Like if you go back and then you look at it after we put the stamps on, it's a different page, right? It just looks way cooler. Um, oh yeah, I love this page. Those stickers are not that clear gloss. They're those little lady stickers, I love them so much. They're paper, so you can color on them and you can make them part of the background, or you can make them pop out with a different color. I low-key love just regular highlighters on those. They just look so good. Um, I don't know if you noticed, but I am not afraid of color. In fact, color is the best part of my life. I think that's helps me with my depression. Like automatically looking at bright yellow in my face is going to change how I view the day, how I approach the day. Man, I love these freaking stamps. Also, when I swipe them along the edges, it's to get all the paint off. Sometimes I'll switch to another page and just kind of wipe off the stamp to kind of get rid of the paint. I'm using Poscas to put these on because I don't need an even coat, so I don't need to like pull out my speedball stuff and like make it really even. I really, again, I'm going for texture. I'm not going for, you know, a complete completion of the stamp, the design that I made. In fact, some of these are so poorly made that like half of the stamp doesn't even come out. And I'm fine with that. I like to use every part of the pig. I'm going to use all my art supplies. I'm going to mess around with all of them. So yeah, if you have the opportunity to do some carving, don't be afraid of it. It's fun. Just doing a couple would probably make your life much more fun. I don't know, much more fun. Um, yeah, so I'm going to just set the music to this, and this will be like the end of my talking. Thanks for coming. I hope this was helpful or fun to watch. And if you made it this far, like let me know in the comments if you want me to show you how to make rubber stamps or not, or what your thoughts are on rubber stamps. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the future.